It's about changes in pricing index and different things like that. So on the worksheet, it's the price. You're talking about the 2021 price factor.
Yeah.
That's the 1.03. That's set by the state.
That's by the state, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And it's applied to our factors?
Price factor, yeah. So we take the 1920 appropriations limit and input that, and then we also, have to list our state aid and different things like that.
I'm having trouble with, I usually have this right here.
Uh-huh. What is that?
Below the table.
How's Peggy doing?
No.
You doing okay there, Dave?
I'm still vertical.
Well, it's all we can hope for these days, huh?
I'm sitting right now, but
All right, good.
Are you sure you're vertical?
not always. Not when you got to drive 206 miles to get here.
Oh my gosh.
Lonnie, he said it was 36 degrees in Flagstaff.
Really? Was that Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Colda Heights.
Colda height. Okay. Oh, wouldn't that be nice right about now?
You wouldn't.
Wow. Chilly. I'm going to go ahead and mute.
There's Stella.
Howdy, I'm back.
How's it going, kiddo?
Hi. Good.
Good.
How are you, Lolly?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good. I've been riding my bike early in the morning, and I had a kind of a cicletta accident and cut my arm
No.
up. Yeah.
I see that. That's terrible. I'm sorry.
I was flipping my bike over. It got a flat, so I haven't ridden in a couple of days.
Aw.
I'm bummed about that, but other than that, I'm doing good.
Stay safe anyway.
Court's reopening up on Monday, so we'll be back in court. I don't know how it's going to reopen.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine.
I'm hoping they do the temperatures before they let the defendants in. Chuck Obala's not going to be present. They have over 900 cases.
Wow.
Ironwood's not testing, so I don't think they're going to be allowed in court. We've been doing video court, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, good luck with that.
It's going to be a mess because we've continued, 3 months of court cases?
Oh my gosh.
Since March.
Wow.
Yeah.
Going to have a busy summer.
It looks that way. I'm losing my attorney in August. So we'll have a visiting attorney. Let's get this show on the road, Brad. Has
Fine.
Brad popped on here?
He's here.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Hey,
Hey, Brad.
Brad.
How's everybody?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Carrie's the doc getting on here? We're good?
Dr. Thomas is right there. I see him.
Dr. Wallace?
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Ned, I see.
I can't see anybody.
You're not?
I can see you.
Me?
Only you.
Oh, I'm special.
With your bright red.
That's me, that's right.
I love it.
Thanks.
It's poppin' summer.
Is Ned here?
Yeah.
Everybody's here.
All right. Is Dr. Wallace on? Can he hear?
Yeah, I'm here, Brad. My video's not working.
Okay. All right. Everybody ready?
Yes, sir.
Red eye.
Here we go. Let's now call the meeting of Palo Verde College Board of Trustees for June 9th, 5 p.m. to order. Please note, Palo Verde College Board of Trustees welcomes you to our board meeting. While our community is under public meeting restrictions and stay-at-home orders issued by state and local authorities, our board meetings will be accessible to members of the public via Zoom, telephone, and YouTube live streaming. Board members will be participating from remote locations, and there is no physical location from which members of the public may attend. Any public comments received via email up to 1/2 hour before the start of the meeting will be recorded into the meeting by the meeting moderator. These temporary modifications to public meeting law have been authorized by executive order from the governor. Until further notice, our board meetings will be held in this manner. Our board is committed to the continued education and safety of our students, faculty, staff, and community. We thank you for your patience and understanding during this difficult time. And we'll now begin our meeting. Please rise with me and salute our flag and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag,
Flag
United States of America.
of America.
republic for which
To
it
the
stands,
republic for which it stands,
under God,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Carrie, roll call, please.
Mr. Arneson,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Here.
Mr. Hyduk,
Here.
Mr. Ramirez,
Here.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Here.
Ms. Dyers,
Here.
Dr. Thomas,
Here,
Mr. Lal, Dr. Wallace,
Here.
Dr. Bauer,
Here.
Ms. Slagan,
Here.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the May 12th meeting.
I moved.
I've got a motion from Mr. Gonzalez and a second. Second from where? Gary, did you catch a second?
I did not hear.
From Stella.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, questions, comments, concerns? None, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we have some minutes. All right. 1.5, subject matter 1.5, the approval of tonight's agenda. Please note
move
that
for approval of the agenda.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. So prior to moving forward, we need to note that all state travel has been suspended at this time. So that makes item number 6.1, I believe it is.
6.6.
Item number 6.6 will need to be deleted, removed from the agenda tonight because it's all about state travel. So And noting that change, is there any other discussion we need to have? If not, removal of 6.6.
What was that? What was that about 6.6?
6.6 agenda item is all about travel, approving
Yes.
travel. The state is suspended travel right now.
Okay.
So we're just going to remove that from the agenda because we don't need to approve it because we can't approve it.
Can't travel anyway. Okay.
Okay, so that change noted. With that change noted, pardon me, with that change noted, do I need an amended motion at all, Carrie?
So move.
George, Dr. Thomas
Yes.
moved. Okay.
Yes.
Second.
I've got a motion, and a second from Mr. Gonzalez. All in favor?
Aye.
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 We have an agenda with some changes. Thank you very much. Section 2, hearing of citizens on agenda items. Carrie, do we have any?
No, sir.
None. All right. In that case, we'll move on and start with reports. CCA, President Willie Smith or his representative, please. Hearing none. 3.2, Academic Senate, Sarah Fred or her representative.
Good evening.
evening.
I wanted to start off tonight acknowledging the huge collective loss of our retiring faculty, Hortensia Rivera, Sandra Shear, Sue Stokel, T.M. Brown, Robert Robertson, and Joe Boyer. This represents about 15% of our full-time faculty, and I'm sure they're all a little scared and a little anxious, and the Academic Senate just wishes them all the very best. The makeup of the faculty is changing fast. In addition, we have a number of new faculty positions that are currently in the interview process. And so everything is just kind of in this metamorphosis. Right now, the faculty are still in the thick of wrapping up our spring term. Everything obviously is delayed with the coronavirus, and we also are continuing to feel some anxiety about the educational landscape for the fall due to how the coronavirus pandemic is playing out here in Blythe, as well as how it's affecting each of our CDCR locations that we serve. We are exceptionally concerned for our students and for our community. And even though we're slowly opening up our economy, the risks continue to be very real and continue to hit very close to home. On a final note, I want to point out that the academic standards that are on tonight's agenda, these two documents are standards that the PVC Academic Senate have discussed, researched, debated, and voted upon as the best representation of the responsibility incumbent upon us when teaching in the correspondence and distance education modalities. We brought them before you this evening with a lot of sweat, hard work, and pride. And that's it for me this evening. Unless you have any questions, please continue to stay safe.
Thank you.
Sarah, thank you very much. Questions, comments, concerns for Academic Senate? Anybody?
No.
Hearing none. 3.3, CSEA, Chapter 180, Richard Soto, President or his representative. Hearing none. Sunil, Associate Student Government.
I have nothing to report, sir.
All right. Dr. Wallace, 3.5,
Yes.
Superintendent President.
Thank you. I have a couple of items. We were notified by the Riverside County, that's Manny's office, that they're coming back to Blythe to do more COVID-19 testing. They'll be here tomorrow through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Doris Morgan Community Center, all free, of course. This is for the actual infection. I'm sure it's that nasal swab test. And then they're coming back next week, it'll be Tuesday to Saturday, so June 16th through June the 20th. I believe we've sent out this information to all of our staff and students already. And if we forgot to send it out to the board, we'll send it out to the board. I don't think we did, but anyway, there's a nice flyer on it. Those flyers will be going up around town. And, you know, we encourage as many people who can to go do it, because Riverside County needs the stats, the statistics to justify their opening strategies for the fall. So that's COVID-19 testing. I wanted to mention that we're trying to figure out what to do with graduation. Some of the steps that we're currently taking are, you should see a full page ad in Wednesday's paper if we get it in time, that basically congratulates our graduates and lists all of them by name. And we didn't put their individual degrees on that, but it says what types of degrees they're getting. We did do a survey of our all of our graduating students, and we asked them which of the three options would they prefer. Would they prefer a traditional, regular, full service graduation, you know, at a date to be determined, but no later than August 8th, 2020? Or would they prefer a virtual graduation, or would they prefer a drive-in graduation? I think I don't know if the local school district had a drive-in one, but a lot of the high school districts did do virtuals and drive-bys. 2/3 of the respondees want a traditional graduation. About 25% of them would say they would prefer, as a second choice, a drive-in graduation. And then about 13% indicated that they would like the virtual, which is no personal contact. So as we had mentioned, you know, right after our closure, we put out information in the paper. We put it out to all of our staff and the board and everybody that, you know, we were holding out for an in-person traditional graduation, if at all possible, at a date determined when we learned more about the opening, you know, how schools are going to be opening. Well, as you all know, last week, the governor put out, you know, some looser standards, if you will, and is indicating that the K-12 schools will be opening in the fall. He also removed K-12 districts from their county governments. So he's basically saying the K-12 rules that he's putting out are statewide. They don't depend on local authorities. However, we're not K-12. So we're still waiting on information from the chancellor's office. The chancellor, Oakley, put together a subcommittee, if you will, of some of the CEOs around the state. He's received their recommendations. Those recommendations are going to their executive council, if you will, next week, and they will make some decisions about how they're going to recommend reopening for all of the community colleges around the state. He indicated that we would have that information possibly late next week, or more likely sometime in the following week. So within the next 2 weeks, we're looking to get that, you know, his guidance about how we should go about reopening. I'm certain that the guidance will include, since nearly all of the community college districts continued to have some students on campus, nearly all of them, like for example, nursing students, police academy students, fire academy students, some CTE and lab classes, all of the districts that weren't closed by their counties continued to have some students on campus, but they had to comply with social distancing and face coverings and that sort of thing. So I'm certain that it's going to look something like that, that we, you know, however we're opening, we need to make sure that we're social distancing, that we have face coverings, and I don't know what else. But anyway, more to come on that. In the meantime, we are planning for a modest on-campus presence in the fall. That will certainly be modified can be modified if the guidance comes down from the chancellor's office different. But we want to be open to those type classes that really need to have students on campus. So your, you know, music students who need a physical sort of presence to do music, nursing students, probably the CTE classes, and other sort of labs that really needed to be done on campus. So we are really expecting some on-campus presence, yet to be seen. exactly the extent of that. So more to come on that. And then I wanted to echo the comments from Sarah about the retirements. I was just thinking through that again today. And she mentioned all of them. I don't recall if she mentioned Mel Pullen, our IT tech that's retiring at the end of June. But it is very sad to see these people that have been here so long and have really made the college what it is today. Very sad to see them go, but each of them, some of the decisions were easier than others. You know, some were ready. It's their time to retire and go kick their heels and do what they want to do. Others had other reasons for doing it that didn't make them quite so happy. But God bless them. You know, each one had their own sort of situation to deal with. And we do wish them well. I appreciate Sarah bringing that up, but we wish them all well. And we know that some of them will be seen again. Joe Boyer, for example, has already signed a volunteer waiver to come back and volunteer, you know, for, I don't know for what, but whatever he can do to volunteer and help our students out. Hortensia mentioned that she would love to be able to continue to do some teaching, and we've assured her that, you know, as scheduled, you know, through the instruction office, she can certainly do that. So anyway, we think we'll see some of them again. And the one of the good things about retirements is that, you know, when we have retirements, then it opens up the opportunity for us to think about, you know, reevaluate whatever that area of responsibility was. How can it be changed, or should it be changed? And it gives an opportunity to think about moving in a different direction for the future. So, so anyway, that's what I'm going to say about retirements. And I think that's the end of my comments.
All right, Dr. Wallace, thank you very much. 3.6, Vice President of Instruction Student Services, Dr. Bauer.
Good evening. I wanted to tell you that we provided our traditional monthly report to you all, and it's pretty obvious that despite all the circumstances that we're staying fairly active. Very pleased with the reporting from the group. We're now preparing to launch a very minimal summer, mostly online summer, and that's going well. But mostly what's going on is we're engaged in a whole different number of levels of contingency plans. We are really looking at everything from how we imagine opening in the fall, 4 or 5 different levels of possibilities, all waiting for this guidance that was mentioned. And we want to make sure that we focus on classroom and workplace safety and all of the issues. So we're trying to be very, very flexible with full range of contingency planning. For example, CCCAA, the athletics, they have officially, for this next year, moved basketball to a spring sport. So this opens up a lot of possibilities, and a reduced schedule. The competition wouldn't be starting until February at the earliest. So there's we'll find out more in a few weeks on which level. They have 3 different plans with different dates and number of things, but they're very adamant about providing athletics this year in some form or the other, although there are not very many fall sports, it looks like, in their planning. The agenda has quite a few program reviews, and I appreciate everybody looking at all those, but we're finally getting caught up and introducing the annual program review for a lot of the service areas. And again, I'm very, very thankful for all the work done on this by all the authors and all the participants in the program review committee. This allows us, especially these new annual components, such as the snapshots that have equity data and planning things, as well as all of them, that allows us to start looking at trends, not just data, but year-to-year trends. So when we can compare them to the changes, because this was the year before, and then in the fall, we're going to have another round of these annuals. And I think this will give us a unique perspective of how to look at what's going on and look for continuous improvement opportunities. So I'm very excited about that possibility, and again, very thankful. And again, wanted to echo my thanks to the Academic Senate for all the hard work they did on the academic standards, which are under discussion, and we're going to develop into some procedures more formally for you to see as well. But again, I'm very grateful and thankful, and a lot of the hard work went into that, and it was important that we get that done, and thanks again. That's it.
Dr. Barr, thank you. Vice President of Administrative Services, Stephanie Slayton.
So I know everyone is kind of interested in what's going on at the state level with the budget. So the governor issued his May revise, and of course we weren't ready as a college to accept his view of what is going on at this, or at least what is going to happen as far as our local budget. We did hear news this past week from the legislature saying that all of the cuts proposed by the governor are not going to happen, that they're going to issue a 2.31 COLA. However, that's the good side of things. The bad side of things is that they are going to defer payments to the college. So what that means, as far as this fiscal year, our June apportionment, which is about 1.1 million, will be deferred or given to us in July. So we have to wait an extra month for that. What they're also proposing is that deferrals happen for April, May, and June of next year, going into the following fiscal year. So while we won't see a budgetary issue, we will see a cash flow issue. And there's several aspects or paths that we can take to help mitigate those deferrals. One is we have a large reserve. That's why we build our reserves, so that we have enough cash on hand to pay for everything, including salaries, benefits, construction, whatever we have going on that time. They also allow us to loan ourselves funds from other funds. So we could take capital outlay funds, loan them to ourselves to cover general fund salaries and benefits. So that's an option as well. A third option is what they call a trans loan, which is a tax revenue anticipation note. We avoid that as much as possible because we do not want to have to pay interest on that trans loan. So moving forward, the first thing that we will be doing is making sure that we have enough cash on hand to cover salaries, benefits, and all of the items that we have. That being said, starting in July, you'll start to see a new information item on the board agenda, and that'll be a cash flow analysis. How much cash do we have on hand each month to cover our liabilities? So you'll see that. We're hoping with that you'll feel a little bit more at ease as far as where we are in a financial position. But like I said, everything is really good at the state level as of right now. All of the cuts, the 10% cut to our general fund, is not in the budget as of right now, and they're looking for a COLA. Another thing is we have received funds from the federal government. We received $174,583 for student grants, of which we've already handed out 100. We're in the process of signing checks for 104,000. That will be direct aid to students. So they should start seeing those checks within the next week or so. We also received that very same dollar amount in institution portion, and we've already been putting that to use as far as covering some of the expenses that it took us to get to where we could offer the classes distance learning or online. So all the laptops we purchased, any internet fees associated with that, any sim labs and different things like that that help us teach the class from a remote location, those fees are being paid for by the CARES Act institutional portion. As far as construction goes, we're nearing the very, very end of completion for the main campus. We should have that buttoned up by the week of the 15th. And then the following week, we'll be installing carpet. And then the following week after that, we'll be installing the blinds. We're still waiting on a deadline for furniture, but we're hoping to move in and be moved in within the next month. So hopefully by the next board meeting, we'll have pictures and different things like that. As far as needles is concerned, we're a little bit delayed. We should finish by the end of July, but we've been told that we can start moving our staff in at the very beginning of July. So we're gonna work with Lolly and her staff and get all of the staff moved in. And then once they finish up construction, we'll move the classrooms back in, and then we can have the buildings picked up, and we'll be done with both projects. The next project, of course, is going to be what we call counselor land. And we've already hired the architects to start working on that for us. So a little bit, we're still moving forward with both construction, child development center, that's moving forward as well. And then hopefully I will have the tentative budget for you in July, along with the budget workshop, and we'll roll the tentative budget on August 1st. That is the new deadline set by the Chancellor's office. So we're taking every ounce of time that we can to make sure that we have the most accurate reflection moving forward on budget and everything that goes into it. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you. All right.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Stella. Sorry.
Ms. Megan, how much did the CARES fund did we receive?
So we received $174,583 for the institutional portion. And then we received $174,583 in the student grants portion. We have I've also applied for another grant. The CARES Act allows, if you receive less than $500,000, you're eligible to, it's called a FIPSE grant. And you can apply for the grant that brings your total allocation up to $500,000. So we applied for that third allocation, and that's in the amount of $150,834. We have not received word on those funds yet. Usually I would say it takes about 3 to 4 weeks from application deadline to getting the award letter. So hopefully by next month, I'll have word on those funds as well. So what we're looking at total for CARES Act funds will be $500,000 when we're done.
And the institutional fund, we can use that for, can we use that for our reserves?
No. So the institutional portion has to be used on items that will affect the institution instructional portion. So if we have to buy software to be able to teach remotely, that would work. If we had to buy laptops for students or faculty, that would work. We cannot use those funds to support things that are not within that scope.
COVID related.
It has to be COVID instruction related. So they were very specific on that. Now we get to decide what is an instruction item, but it has to relate to instruction.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, 3.8, Dean of the Needle Center, Lolly.
Thank you and good evening. I've attached my report per the usual procedure. And we are looking forward to moving back to our building, whenever things get done. And it's really exciting to think about it. I actually have not been in there. I didn't want to see anything as things were going on. Other people went in, just kind of broke my heart with all the things that were being done to it. So, other than that, we're, doing all our registrations by phone or Skype or, Zoom or whatever it takes, or email with our students for both summer and fall. As far as budgetary things, I'm working on the budget for, finishing up the budget for the consortium. For this year, at least going through the third quarter, there are a number of reports that are due, but the consortia all across California are now proposing, just, as a preemptive measure, to have 12.5% reduction on all the consortia receiving their funds. So ours is going to be we're going to go from 832,000, I think, down to about 748 or 49,000. So this Thursday, we're going to have a meeting with some of our members, because we can't do a retreat this year, except for a Zoom retreat, to discuss some of these issues and where we are. And then in July, once the budget has been presented to us, then we'll go through and determine if there are additional cuts from programs or instructions. And I don't think so. I think we're going to do, pretty well managing it, thanks to Stephanie, who helps us keep on our toes. So that's it. I have nothing more to say, so thank you.
All right, thank you. Board of Trustees in Needles with Ed Gonzalez.
Yep. I have something to say, but I'll wait until we get to 5.4.
Okay. All right, Dave Lindquist.
0.
All right, the Blythe area, Ned Hyduke.
No, sir, nothing from me, Brad. Thank you, sir.
All right, Dr. Thomas.
Just want to congratulate the retirees and wish them the best of luck in their retirement, and thank them for the service they've rendered to the college.
Stella Stars.
I just wanted to say congratulations to all the retirees. There's a lot been going on, all statewide reopening, and I'm kind of glad that's happening. Our community, we had the Black Lives Matter, which is, we had the death of George, and also the high school events that went on. There was a graduation parade. There was a drive-through. I enjoyed that. And a lot going on right now. And I think everybody's on pins and needles seeing how we're all going to reopen. It should be interesting. So we'll have to just wait and see. Thank you.
Andrew Ramirez.
Just thank everybody for all the work they're doing. Besides what's going on, everybody's doing such a great job. That's about it.
All right, and as for myself, I don't have anything this time. Just I'd like to thank the teachers that are retiring for their years and time and dedication, and then look forward to allowing them to move on to whatever they'd like to move on to, and congratulate them. And that move into our program reviews, starting with Mr. Derek Koppel, nursing.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Good evening,
how's everybody doing? Nice to
Good,
see
good.
you. Nice to see you all. I haven't been into a meeting for so long, since I'm not the CTA president. I haven't been to the meetings as much, but thank you all for what you do and your time that you give for our institution. I know it's appreciated by a lot of us. First thing I want to just preface on this is I'm not going to take up very much of your time. This is a review that we're getting caught up on. This was for a period of time from 2013 to 2016. During this time, one of the reasons this is delayed is because during this time, as some of you will recall, you were on the board then. We faced some challenges in the nursing department with the board of nursing that came down and changed some things and gave us quite a few citations. So this was during that period of time. And I could go on and on about it, but I think that this is kind of the past, and we have grown leaps and bounds since then, and made some changes within our department, both staff-wise, both policy-wise, instructional plan-wise. We just totally did a total change about, and so, but nursing is still a very, very in-demand profession, as well as all of our classes that we offer in nursing and allied health. My classes are full on a wait list almost every semester, whether that be phlebotomy, our LVN class. By the way, we just finished this last week. 11 LVNs graduated. So, I mean, obviously we haven't been able to have a ceremony for them, but just to let you know, they did finish. So, and it was very interesting. They did online simulations, and we did online Zoom sessions with them, but we got them through it. But that's just and then also 24 CNAs, I did the same way. It's really pretty cool. Well, someday if you guys want to see it, I'll show you, but they all had to submit videos. I know I'm getting off topic, but I think this is just cool to tell you. They submitted videos on all their training. So like they were given a skill to do, and since they couldn't go to the nursing home to do it, they actually videoed it doing a family member or some, and it was a great experience. And I have a feeling that they're probably going to even possibly do better on their skills exams because they actually practiced them, they videoed themselves and sent them in to us. New way of learning, even for nursing, but it went well. But
good for you.
But getting back to our review, we still are a very highly demanded program. We have good, we have good retention rates. And even if we look back into 2013, 2016, we had very good success rates, with the exception of nursing 128 and NSC 128. It used to be NUR 128. NSC 128, it's medical terminology. And the reason that we had a little bit of a drop down in rates there is because it's a distance education course now, and we have so many inmates that what happens is they start out doing well and then they don't finish for whatever reason, and it skews our numbers a little bit, and they don't drop. And when the student doesn't drop, as you know, we have to not pass them. So then it kind of skews the numbers. But other than that, we have good pass rates. We have good pass rates on our state testing. We had 100% last year in our last LVN class that finished. So we're doing well since this period of time. And I guess that's what I want to really stress right now, because this was such a long time ago. There really isn't a whole lot to say about it other than it was some dark times for the nursing department. And boy, we've definitely grown since then. And I think you're going to be seeing another review probably early when we get back from in August. August, September, you'll probably be seeing another review coming from me, which will be an update. And it'll be full of a lot of great news. During this time, we didn't have a director part of the time. We were changing out leadership. There was some issues there. We've had constant, a leadership person, as a nursing director now. So things are moving forward. This was in the past. I'll be happy to answer any questions, but really this was just getting us caught up. And we're going to be caught up really soon on these. And this is filing of 2013, 2016, and moving forward. And as you all know, plans are in the works for a potential RM program, although that's everything's been put in hold at the state. The nursing boards are dealing with COVID just like everybody else is. So everything has just kind of been put on they're just dealing with day to day how we're going to get our students the next, into another day. And that's what we're dealing with. I was on a call the other day, and they're still looking at what's going to happen in the fall. I mean, we're still looking at these high numbers of COVID. So we just really don't know. But we're moving in the right direction at Palo Verde College, and I think we're going to be having some huge successes coming forward soon.
All right, from the board, questions, comments, concerns for Derek? Hearing none. Derek, thank you very much.
All right, thank you all. You all have a great summer.
Yeah.
You too. It's good to see you.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, 4.2, Maria Rivera, Stacy Lee, Categorical Counseling 2019 Annual Program Review.
I guess I'll go first, yeah? Since
okay.
CalWorks Counseling, JSPS, EOPS, and I think we're at the beginning, so I'll just get it over with. Obviously, this is not my normal setting, but this is exciting to see everybody. So I'm just here to speak on behalf of the CalWorks program and the program review that was from 1819. Obviously, that was the year that was used. Once again, don't want to make this a long meeting. Going to go over some strengths, some weaknesses, and then maybe some needs improvement or things we can work on. The CalWorks program is definitely a small program on campus due to the fact that it has very strict guidelines. Our students are cash aid recipients. Obviously, they have lots of obstacles in their way, and we do our best to serve them in all those challenges. We've increased their accountability. They're great at responding via email. Yes, via text is definitely a very popular means. So we want to make sure that they're staying engaged. So that is definitely one of our strengths. We plan our whole entire year calendar and monthly meetings for the whole year at the beginning of the year, so they know exactly when we're meeting and what our topics are. And we obviously try and provide multiple services at the same time so that they can meet their needs. Let me see what else I have here. We do not require them to make appointments. If we are available and they're there, we will see them. We don't, hey, you're going to have to come back. If they're there visiting financial aid or EOPS, we try and accommodate them at their leisure the best we can so that they don't have to come back to campus. A couple other things I can say on behalf of my clerk. I have a part-time clerk, so it's myself and my part-time clerk that oversee the CalWorks program. And she has done an amazing job of keeping them engaged. I know this probably isn't on our report, but she has kept them engaged through all this COVID stuff to make sure that we keep them on board so they stay enrolled and their completion rates will stay up as opposed to withdrawing. And if they are having to withdraw, we make sure that they do that in a timely fashion and complete that the correct way so that they don't end up with Fs or not passing grades and they have to retake classes and it affects everything in general. So I'm going to say those are some of our strengths. We definitely have worked really closely with our county to make sure that we can verify their eligibility, because obviously with the counties being closed, that's obviously an issue now. But even in the past, it's kind of a lengthy process. They have to take paperwork down, receive signatures, and then bring it back. We've actually set up a process where it can be emailed to us directly so that they don't have to actually run back and forth, because oftentimes transportation is also an issue. So weaknesses, I'm going to say our biggest weakness is the fact that we can only serve a very, very, very specific population. If there was other guidelines, then we could serve additional individuals, but they have to be receiving cash aid for themselves and for their child. They have to be enrolled in classes. And those are the biggest criteria that we have to have requirements for them to actually receive services through our program. But with the restrictions that the county puts on them, oftentimes they become timed out because they have a time clock. And once they no longer receive the cash aid, we cannot provide the service. So we try and get them in and try and get them through their educational goals and to completion before they actually lose their aid, because that oftentimes is a dilemma, and or they have a lot of obstacles in their way and have to stop and restart. So those are, I'm going to say, our biggest weaknesses. Needs improvement or accountability, things that we can work on. Definitely making sure that they stay engaged, reaching out to them, having them come in if they have issues or if they need things to come see us and talk to us. That's definitely something we want to continue to improve on. It, like I said, in the past has been a little bit difficult, but we definitely have improved on it going forward, and we want to continue. I know that my clerk, like I said, has done a great job keeping them engaged. We have met with them on a weekly basis and a drive-through little process to give them incentives and what have you, gas cards and things that will keep them on board so that we can get them in for summer and in for fall. And multiple students have already enrolled for summer. We've already ordered books, provided their supplies, and then we're moving forward to fall. So I think there's obviously a great deal of other information in here. I'll gladly answer any questions. This is, I have to say, the first time I've ever done a collaborative program review. So it's a little bit different. So I just have a little section, but if anybody has any questions, I'm actually on vacation in Arizona. Needless to say, that sunset is just a picture. But I'm glad to answer any questions if anybody has any questions for me. To my knowledge, we are not receiving any cuts to our funding as of right now. I haven't heard anything detrimental for the CalWorks program. We also oversee some federal funds that are TANF funds to the CalWorks program also. And to my knowledge, we're not receiving any cuts in that either. So. But I'll entertain any questions. I'll do my best. Fire away.
Any questions for Mrs. Lee?
Thank you, Brad. That was very, very, Mr. Arneson, that was very.
Stacey, you're welcome.
Okay.
All right. If not, Maria, did you have anything to add on this?
Yes, I'll be talking about EOPS and CARE.
Okay.
Well, extended opportunity programs and services. Oh, you put my glasses on. I thought I was going to be able to read this. Extended opportunity programs and services was established as a result of Assembly Bill 164 back in 1969 to fight poverty. Palo Verde College EOPS students have been receiving assistance from EOPS since 1970. I'm a product of EOPS. When I graduated from high school, I took advantage of the book services that EOPS offered. Since then, moving fast forward to 2020, EOPS has adopted many new additional programs to continue assisting our less fortunate. The mission of EOPS is to promote student success, lifelong learning, and community development. It is our goal to motivate our EOPS students by supporting them to be more effective in making thoughtful career choices. Our goal is to create better futures for our students and our communities. The core root of EOPS are books and counseling, but as times change, so does our program. We must grow by implementing new and innovative ways to keep them focused in completing semester successfully. The number one objective for the program is to have the students graduate with a degree or certificate and transfer or to obtain employment. The strengths of EOPS is assisting our students map out their educational plan during their first mandatory meeting. But in order to have our students complete their educational goal, we must guide them appropriately and provide them with additional services to keep them focused on their goal. The 3 follow-up mandatory EOPS contacts are vital to the program because this is when we get to hear what our students are going through. 2 years ago, students told us that they were practically homeless. Many of them were not able to concentrate because of lack of nutrition. They spoke and we listened. That was when EOPS started the breakfast and the lunch packs. 1,200 breakfast and lunch packs have been distributed thus far. Due to the breakfast and lunch packs, we saw an increase of students staying after class and taking advantage of the tutoring, the library, and computers in the mall. Mental health counseling is in the front line, along with academic counseling. We have been working closely with Riverside University Mental Health. We want to make sure that all students receive adequate help along with academics. For many of our students, it's a struggle coming to school every day. We are seeing more and more inmates paroling out and continuing their education here at Palo Verde College. EOPS wrote a mini grant to mental health, which was awarded to educate our campus with hotline numbers, text numbers, and mental health awareness. In 2014 and 15, EOPS provided services to 699 students. And in 2019 and 20, EOPS provided services to 1,188 students. Our enrollment increased and will continue to increase due to the outreach efforts. EOP recruits within the community and our local prisons. The program also recruited a great number of students by using the airwaves of bilingual Spanish and English radio station located here in Blythe. As of spring 2020, EOPS has a staff of 5, 1 full-time director for EOPS and care, 1 full-time EOPS counselor, 1 full-time instructional service technician, and 2 part-timers, I'm sorry. One is a part-time educational advisor and the other one is a part-time service tech 1. The EOPS team works hard to keep our students engaged and focused. We are blessed to have a group of team members who have compassion and dedication to our students. Due to the increase of students, EOPS and care will need additional counselors and student workers to assist the program that is rapidly growing. We need to be more innovative. We need to have more innovative programs to support the students' needs. Echoing the words of Chancellor Eloy Ortiz Oakley, community colleges are the heart of the communities. This is so true. Palo Verde College EOPS is here to serve all students who are in the need of change or a new beginning. Our 4-year plan includes additional counseling, ongoing documents, imaging licensing costs, workplace for additional positions, and document imaging setup. Our current facility is very limited. Additional workplace will be needed to support additional counseling staff. Bookcases to house books, instructional materials, as well as storage processing space due to the increasing volume of student textbooks supplied every term. Our goal is also to have files paperless. COVID-19 EOPS care had already had the forms online, but were utilized due to meeting with our students face-to-face. We will continue using existing college document imaging system, Perceptive Image Now, which is a program, to archive our paperwork, base student records, and workflow. Our financial report was similar to the previous budget years. We received a total of $529,569, which included some salaries, benefits, books, and other services that were provided to the EOPS students. EOPS and care held 5 EOPS Care Award ceremonies. Once a year, we celebrate our graduates for accomplishing their goals. For many of our students, they had never been celebrated or recognized in a positive way. EOPS goes over and above to make sure that they are recognized for their accomplishments. This is also a way for them to thank their families and support team, a team that once had given up on them. EOPS has always been referred to a program as a program that goes over and above. We take our slogan very, very serious. We make sure that we go over and above for all students. Since COVID-19, EOPS also delivered laptops, hotspots, prepaid credit card grants. Many of our students lost their jobs and some have tested positive for the virus. With the prepaid credit card grants, we were able to assist them with their daily necessities. In conclusion, I would like to read a couple of messages from our students who tested positive and who are grateful to the services that EOPS offers. Machi, I received your gift cards. I am literally in tears. The fact that you checked up on me every day and did that means so much. I have never really had a strong support system. So you have no idea, absolutely no idea how much that means to me. Thank you so much. And another one came in from another student. Thank you for all your help. You and your fellow staff work really hard to make sure that we all succeed, and we appreciate that. These are the messages that we have been receiving every day from our students. We make sure that our students are doing well. We care for, and they don't only have to be EOPS, because EOPS is spreading the word that there's a lot of people reaching out to them. So we are reaching out to any student. If anyone out there knows of a student in need, please refer them to us, and we will be sure to get back to them and help them and assist them with anything that we possibly can. And I thank you. I thank you for listening to our short, condensed program review. If you have any questions.
Thank you, Monty.
Thank you, Stella.
I just want to say, Monty, I always enjoy your EOPS graduations. I love you that you connect with the students. The keynote speakers are always wonderful. The dinner presentation afterwards, you put on a great program, and thank you and your crew for all your hard work.
Thank you so much for all your support. We're really
Thank
we're so grateful.
Vera, thank you. I appreciate it.
Bye. Thank you. Have a good evening and stay safe. I'm signing out. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Enjoy Arizona.
Oh, I'm in Blythe.
That was Stacy.
I will enjoy. I'm gonna go sit by the pool now.
Oh, wow. We're jealous.
All right. What part of Arizona?
What part? Chandler.
Chandler. Oh, okay.
Nice.
My children are here with me during this board meeting.
Nice.
Have a great night. Be safe.
You too, Stacy. Thank you. All right, moving right along. 4.3, Human Resources. Ceci Garcia.
Good afternoon, all. How you doing?
Hello.
Good.
I know it's a long list, but I'm just gonna go real quick and fast here. I don't know if every one of you know that I started with this position since 2015, and we were in combination with the Business Services Department, and then we separated in 2017. So actually, this is also my first time I'm doing a program review. I'm just gonna touch on the highlights because you have the report in front of you. Before it was just me and Vicky, 2 people. So now we have five people in our department. Finally, we have our own mission statement for the HR department. We serve the population of faculty, staff, student workers, administrators, management, board members, retirees, especially with all these people retiring. Yes, it has been very stressful, for lack of words, for them. They're scared. They don't know what they're getting themselves into. But with the knowledge that I have been able to hold their hand and walking through the whole process. They're very grateful and they're always thanking me. And it seems like now they're a little bit more at ease. One of the other things that we have been working on very hard is professional development. We have been providing trainings, and instead of sending people out, we try to do the training on house so everyone can participate. There was a lot of things that they were not up to date: sexual harassment, EEO trainings, TB tests. There was a lot of things that we have to take it to the next level. Now that we have the EEO plan as well, for so many years, the last time the Chancellor's office had one, it was in 1997. So it was pretty old, and that was a very hard work within all of our constituent groups that we worked together to put it together. So now it's transparent procedures and best practices to avoid any bias in our processes and procedures in order to maintain a fair and competitive hiring process within the district. Also, the new way to apply for our position, it's online, no more paperwork. The testing is online, the pre-employment packets, they're online. And another thing that we brought to the district, it's one of the strengths would be the way we have this program for student workers. Now we make them apply and they go to a short interview, a short application process. And it's rewarding when you hear back from the students saying that they're so pleased with the process because we give them those tools that they need when they go out in the real world and apply for a job. One of the weaknesses that I see here with the recruitment, it's our location, because our salaries now they're competitive with other districts similar to our district, but just the location. We get good employees and then we lose them because there's nothing here to do. We just trying, and I would say that's one of the weaknesses that we have in our department. It's nothing that we can do about that. And I'm just trying to walk away with old-fashioned ways and try to make it easier, better, with the fingerprinting, the nursing department, as you were listening to Derek, that's another thing that they're very happy about. We not only test fingerprint our employees, we also fingerprint students for special programs, like for Willie's programs, and now the nursing department, the child care department. So working very hard and make our department to be top notch. That's all I got for you.
Thank you, Sassy.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Sassy, appreciate it. Questions, comments, concerns for Sassy? Hearing none. Thank you very much. 4.4 fiscal services. Stephanie Slagan. Ms. Slagan, go ahead.
So our mission in the business office is to maintain the highest level of fiscal accountability and to promote the district's financial health, transparency, and operational efficiency in support of student success. This past year, in 18-19, we ended the year with a 39.66% reserve. We also received our audit report back with no findings. And we're very proud of the ability of our staff to maintain working relationships with the different categorical programs, academic divisions, and management. We noticed there were some items in deficiency when I took over. We needed to have more meetings with the budget and planning committee. Those weren't happening on a very monthly basis. We've now fixed that for this current fiscal year. We also started the 2018-19 with all new staff. If you remember, I left to go to the foundation, so we had a brand new director of fiscal services, a brand new fiscal services specialist, and a temporary vice president of admin services. Towards the end of that fiscal year, I was appointed as the vice president, and then we also looked at putting the business service technician 2, which was a new position, into the staff. So we really had very new staff. So one of our things was lack of training for new staff. They were so busy trying to learn their job that it was difficult for them to move forward. So we got them the training. We sent them out for training. We had people come here for training with RCOE, and those were all taken care of. Just some highlights of, let me see. So last year we processed 492 budget transfers. We processed 1,548 purchase orders, and then we reviewed 35 contracts. And that was just, and every year that seems to go up. So hopefully next year we'll have, higher numbers for you. And then we're also looking what we would like to do when the budget crisis is finished is add a budget analyst to our office. That will really help categorical programs and departments utilize and be efficient with their budgets, and also help us on an ongoing daily basis to review budgets and make sure that we're spending what we need to spend in the time that we need to spend it. So that is all I have for the fiscal. And then.
All right. Any questions from the board regarding the fiscal report? Hearing none, let's proceed on to maintenance and operations, which is also you, Stephanie.
Yes. So the maintenance and operations department strives to provide a clean and safe learning environment for all. This promotes a better education for our students, as well as help our staff and faculty stay focused on tasks at hand. M&O must be able to adapt to change in events, problems, or provide solutions all to all that's going on. All of the equipment is properly maintained and replaced when needed to enable the department to not only be efficient, but also sustainable into the future. The maintenance department stands ready and prepared at all times to keep all faculty or facilities operational on the main campus Needle Center and Child Development Center. The proper maintenance of these facilities reduce costly breakdown and unnecessary closure. The one thing that they are looking forward to doing in a better budget year, of course, is promoting the part-time faculty or part-time custodians to full-time custodians. Right now, they do have problems with retention of custodians. So, with the more buildings that we're getting, the changes to our facilities, we really do need to look at in the future, moving to full-time custodians. Other things is replacing storage, creating additional storage, and replacing equipment as needed. They did file a budget enhancement request form to change out some of their machinery and different equipment. So hopefully, if the budget is where it needs to be, then we can help them do that. But other than that, that's all I have.
All right, any questions for Ms. Sligan regarding maintenance and operations? Hearing none. Dr. Bauer, Instruction Student Services.
Again, thank you for looking at our program review. We've put a lot of different things. This is a place that a lot of different things come together as far as strategic planning tasks, putting a lot of our frontline data that we are supposed to be using. And this is supposed to keep the conversation going so that we can keep talking about these things, especially the goal of student success and mitigating performance gaps. And that's why some of this, as you might have seen, it was featured in our accreditation document, but this is an annual place that we will take it out, look at it, discuss it, see how we're doing, and so it's not on a every 7 year like an accreditation thing. So you'll find a lot of these things familiar, but as we set a baseline, especially, we'll be able to see some changes and see if we can maintain a lot of our success and find any areas that need mitigation. We've included a lot of the reports that you get every month, so much of it you've seen before and know about, but kind of excited about putting this together and the process of putting together and then presenting it to through the committee structure. I think this is this continuous conversation that we need to keep promoting and keep having. I think that's all, unless there's questions, that's all I'll do on this one.
All right, does the board have any questions for Dr. Bauer regarding this report? Hearing none, Dr. Bauer. Scott, thank you, I appreciate it. 4.7, Dr. Wallace, Office of the Superintendent President.
Well, as I was reviewing my report, which you have in front of you, I was reminded of several leadership quotes, 2 or 3 I'm going to share with you. One of those is that if you think you're leading and you turn around and there's no one following you, you're just out taking a walk. That's one of the quotes. The other one that I like is that I was reminded by my chancellor, who became the state chancellor for a while. When he retired after 16 years at Los Rios, he went around to all 4 of the colleges in his district, and he told everyone, he said, everybody tells me what a great job I've done over these 16 years. And he said, now that I'm retiring, I want to let you know a secret. He says, I didn't do anything. You all did it. And so one of the secrets to great leadership is just to surround yourself with great people. And that's what I've tried to do. And then the last thing I would say about leadership is that age-old philosopher, Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu. He said, a leader is best when people barely know he exists, when his work is done, his aim is fulfilled, and they say, we did it ourselves. So I say all that to say that when you read my report, you will see it's very global in nature, because everything that I'm responsible for, others are responsible for. And so I think we've done a pretty good job, and you've heard some of those reports today, and we're going to do better. We've done good, but we're going to do even better as we move forward in the future. I don't have any highlights from the report to emphasize for you, but please take a look at it.
Okay. Any questions from the board for Dr. Wallace regarding his report? All right. If not, hearing none, moving right along. We move into another portion of the agenda, now into the discussion portion. We'll begin that with 5.1, the second reading of board policy number 2410 and 3410.
So this is your second read of these, and unless you have any questions on them, they're on there later on for approval.
Okay. All right. Anything else on this? Questions, comments, concerns from the board? We've all gone through this very carefully, correct? All right.
Correct.
In the case 5.2, the first read, revised board policies and administrative procedures. This would be, here's the list. Oh, go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, just one comment on this one. The APs are on here for information, and this will be the last time you see them unless you have some concerns about them. The BPs, this is your first read. You'll see them again at the August meeting for approval, second read and approval. All of these, with the exception of one, all of the changes that you see on them are basically the changes that were recommended by the league. And there's none of our sort of input into it other than having changed the language as recommended by the league. So you'll see a lot of changes, but just know that none of those are sort of administrative changes here. The one that does have some administrative input is 3515. And basically that one, the league had spaces to say, who would this be reported to and that sort of thing. So we filled in, like college administration, vice president of instruction, people that we thought that needed to be reported to. Other than that, the changes are all from the league on those.
Okay. All right. Questions, comments, concerns on these? Hearing none. Discussion portion number 5.3, policies on distance and correspondence education.
So these policies have gone through the processes here at the college. They have to go through certain committees, and they've been approved by all the committees. So this is just on here for your information and for discussion. And then they will come back to you at the next board meeting in updated AP 4105 and AP 4105-2.
Okay. Further questions, comments, or concerns regarding these? Hearing none. 5.4, the Board of Trustees self-evaluation documents.
So this is June, and I'm looking at the BP 2745 board self-evaluation timeline. In June, you should be receiving your performance goals that you were under last time, and the supporting documentation for the evaluation period. So that's what you have. You've got the goals. You got those last time in May. And then your self-evaluation instrument with my sort of first attempt at filling it out is here for you. And since we don't typically do a survey, and we've not elected to do that again this year, the next time we'll see you is in August. Between now and August, if you would take time to fill out your individual surveys and get those to Carrie. And then maybe by the time we get to August, we can finalize yours way early, because the board policy requires it to be finalized by the end of October. Last year we got it early, and I suspect this year we will too. I think the new process really helps us to get it done more quickly.
Good. All right. Thank you very much.
I have a comment to make about that. You know, last Sunday evening, after having a few tequilas and having supper, I opened up the agenda, and I was sitting in my chair, and my wife was watching the news. You know what's been on the news? Part she was watching, and I glanced at it once in a while, you know, while I was going through the agenda. How divided the nation is. How one fact goes after the other one, and so on, and lies, and so on and so forth. Then that was that section of the news. Then the next section of the news was the demonstrations throughout the United States and also in England. I said, now here's something that's kind of interesting. Here you have one part of the news which is destructive, which is going in the wrong direction. And here we have unity with thousands and thousands and thousands of people going in one direction, fighting for one purpose, and that's unity. Then I start thinking about our self-evaluation, the job that we do as trustees. And I think we are united. I think we do a very good job of understanding and looking for the very same things all of us do, all the trustees that we have right here. Looking for the best things that we can have for our college. And you heard 7 testimonies to that fact. Good reports, united, and I think we are in the right step. I think we need as a board to stay united and to not to get destructive and fall apart. I think all of this college needs our support 100%. And that's what I thought about while I was going through this budget and watching the news after a few tequilas.
Let's go ahead.
Ed, thank you very much. Any other questions or comments on 5.4? All right. Moving right along then. Section number 6 of our agenda, 6.1, information items. 6.1, report of purchases and warrants. We've all had a chance to go over this.
Yes, sir.
All right. .2, amendment to David Yosel 2019-2020 contract and addition of new contract for George Dagnino. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Anything we need to bring up about this? Or are we good?
I had one question, President. George Dagnino, we already had a contract with him, right? Are we just extending it, Dr. Wallace?
So this is a contract out of Lolly's shop under the AEBG funding. So we had a contract with him on some athletic stuff. And I really didn't look at this one close enough. If Lolly wants to comment about it. These are not our funds, and they have their own board that's approving these.
Yeah, it's just for the adult education program and nothing else.
For George Dagnino?
Yes.
Okay.
So Stella, our contract with him would be under the college business, and I think that would be for his participation with athletics, right?
And this is a new contract for him for.
That is correct. This one, we're looking at him to fill a GED position, GED instructor position.
Because someone's leaving. Oh, Mr. Yosel.
Yes,
Okay, got it. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Moving right along on 6.3, the contracts for the River Consortium, adult education programs for 20 and into 21. That'd be Kathy Stubblefield, Maureen Burt, Maria Gomez, Maria Gonzalez, Jessica Soto, Martina Wang, and Regina Fields. The contracts follow. We've all gone over those. Any further discussion? All right. Moving on, 6.4. Consultancy agreement between the River Consortium and Adult Education Solutions for the FY fiscal year of 2020 and 2021. We've all been over that agreement on the attachment. Yes. Questions, comments, concerns? All right. Hearing number one, hearing none. 6.5. 6.5 is retirement or the resignation of staff members. The staff members are Hortensia Rivera, Sue Stoichel, Thin Min Brown, Maria Conchola, Tara Palmer, Marciala Sanchez. And we've all pretty much mentioned this earlier when when Mrs. Fred made comment on it, and a lot of board members have. Are there any other questions, comments, or concerns? All right. Hearing none. We move along to 6.7. As we remember, 6.6, the out-of-state travel portion was removed in the prior portion of this meeting during the approval of the agenda. So 6.7 would be Board of Trustees training opportunities. We've all had a chance to go over this, correct?
Yes.
Any questions, comments, further concern on it?
Nope.
All right. They're all pretty basic classes we're all pretty familiar with. Okay, that brings us to section 7 of our agenda, consent items. With that, please know that one blanket motion will cover all agreement on these consent items. So we should probably go through them first and then come back and come back for the approval. The 7.1 would be summer 2020 special admission for 9th and 10th grade students. We've all seen that and gone over that. I have no problem with that. Okay. In that case, 7.2, revised curriculum. Approval of the curriculum, new and revised courses and programs for May 2020. And we've gone over this. In the opening portion of our meeting, we discussed a little bit about, there were questions about 7.3. Have we gotten those cleared up, and have we had a chance to look at this, and are we all on the same page? 7.3, again, the GANN, the limit for 2020 and 2021. Stephanie, do you want to add a little bit to this, or are we all good?
I think it's, yeah, there's nothing much to add unless you have a question.
Okay. Did we get all the questions answered on this? All right. Hearing no more questions, we'll proceed on to the personnel actions of June 2020. welding instructor on the tenure track would be Instructor Calabrese. We've all gone through this.
Yeah, fine young man.
Good. Good. All right. 7.5. Joe Boyer is retiring, would like to come back and help in the career and technical education programs.
Absolutely.
All right, then. That brings us to the approval of the above 5 mentioned. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion for approval of consent items number 7.1 through 7.5.
Move to approve.
I've got a motion from Stella, a second.
Yeah, second.
I've got a second from Mr. Gonzalez. Questions, comments, or concerns? All right, Ms. Millian.
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Hyduk,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas, Dr. Thomas,
George, you have to unmute.
Dr. Thomas, your mic is muted. Mr. Arnur, can you unmute Dr. Thomas's mic, please?
I'm trying to, but I think he has to acknowledge it on his side.
Hey, George, a thumbs up if you can hear me. Dr. Thomas, can you just nod if you can hear me? Look on the lower left-hand portion of your screen. There will be a button that says mute. It looks like a microphone on a stand. Click it once.
I think that he might not have the Zoom app up. Dr. Thomas, on the bottom of your screen, there's a camera that's blue and white. Click on that. There we go. And then you should see a thing. There we go.
There he is.
There you are, George.
And yes is my answer. I was saying it, but you couldn't hear me. I lost you some kind of a way.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Lal, I believe Mr. Lal had to leave the meeting early.
Okay.
So motion carries.
Motion carries, and thank you very much. Moving right along then. Action items. Instruction. This time I'll entertain a motion to approve the approval of the nursing CTE program review from 2013 to 2016, the catch-up year from Mr. Koppel. I'll entertain a motion.
I move.
Second.
Second.
Gonzalez, and a second from
Angel.
Mr. Ramirez. Any further questions or comments about this?
Thank you.
Hearing none. Ms. Millian.
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Hyduk,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Moving right along. 8.2, approval of categorical and counseling program review. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Stella, I'll entertain a second.
Second.
Second from Dr. Thomas. Any further questions, comments, or discussion on this? If not, Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Hyduke,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Dyers, Ms. Dyers,
Yes. Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
All right. 8.3, approve the instructional and student services report. This time I'll entertain non-nomination,
motion.
Motion.
motion, thank you.
So moved.
I've got a motion from Stella. Second, please.
Second.
We got a second from Mr. Rehnquist. Any further questions or comments regarding this discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Hyduke,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Dyers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
All right. Brings to business action items, section number 9. 9.1, Keenan Associates Amendment to and Property Casualty Claims Administrative Services Agreement. So
Move to approve.
I've got a motion from Dr. Thomas.
Second.
I've got a second from, I believe it was Mr. Gonzalez. Any further questions or comments on this issue? Anything we don't understand? This time we'll entertain a motion.
are you ready for the question? Call for the
Question.
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Hyduke,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Dyers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Okay. Agenda item number 9.2, Keenan Associates Loss Control Service Agreement Renewal. This time I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I've got a motion from Mr. Hyduke. Any comments or questions?
None.
Hearing none. Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Hyduke,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Dyers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Okay. 9.3, contract. Yeah. I'm not even sure how to say that. Cranium Cafe? Yeah, Cranium Cafe. There we go. This time I'll entertain a motion.
I move.
So moved.
Got a motion, a second?
Second.
I've got a motion, a second. Ms. Carrie, you okay there? You got everything?
yes, sir, thank you.
Okay. In that case, Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Hyduke,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Dyers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Okay, 9.4, federal grant awards for the Higher Education Emergency Relief Fund.
I move.
Second.
We've got a motion from Mr. Gonzalez, a second from Mr. Rehnquist. Any further discussion on this? If not, Ms. Bullion?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Hyduke,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Dyers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
All right, 9.5, 2022 through 2026 capital outlay plan. I'll entertain a motion
So moved.
So moved.
and a second.
Second.
Got a motion from Mr. Hyduke, a second from Mr. Rehnquist. Any further questions, comments, or concerns? Ms. Millian.
Mr. Arneson? Mr. Arneson?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Hyduk?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez?
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist?
Yes.
Ms. Dyers?
Yeah.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Okay, 9.6, the strong workforce contract amendment with Riverside County College District.
I move.
Second.
Second.
A motion from Mr. Gonzalez, a second from Mr. Angel. Any further comments or questions on this? Hearing none, Ms. Millian.
Mr. Arneson?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Hyduk?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez?
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist?
Yes.
Ms. Dyers?
Yeah.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Okay, 9.7, Adable Consulting LLC contract for 20 to 21. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I've got Mr. Hyduk and Mr. Ramirez. Any further comments, questions, or discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Millian.
Mr. Arneson?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Hyduk?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez?
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist?
Yes.
Ms. Dyers?
Yeah.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
All right. 9.8 would be 2019-2020 budget revisions for June 2020.
I move.
I've got a motion. I'll entertain a second.
Second.
We've got a motion from Mr. Gonzalez, a second from Dr. Thomas. Any further questions, comments, discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Millian.
Mr. Arneson?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Hyduk?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez?
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist?
Yes.
Ms. Dyers?
Yeah.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Nine point nine would be the 2019 through 03 request for change order with Piercy's Builders. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. Carrie, are you good with everybody?
Was that Mr. Ramirez who seconded that?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Millian.
Mr. Arneson?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Hyduk?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez?
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist?
Yes.
Ms. Dyers?
Yeah.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Okay. 9.10, authorization to expend funds prior to the adoption of the tentative budget. Basically, we don't know yet what we're going to get, but we still have some business to handle. So I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Got a motion from Dr. Thomas, a second.
Second.
A second from Mr. Gonzalez. Further questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Millian.
Mr. Arneson?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Hyduk?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez?
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist?
Yes.
Ms. Dyers?
Yeah.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Okay. Nine point 11, CDE contract, CSPP 0391 for Palo Verde Community College District Child Development Center funding for 2021. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
A motion from Mr. Hyduk, a second.
Second.
A second from Mr. Ramirez. Further questions, comments, concern, discussion?
I have a question.
I don't know who can answer this for me, but the amounts that we are providing the Child Development Center, does this money come out of the funds that we receive from for the Child Development Center, or we're letting them borrow this money from that, or is this from construction? Is it for everyday use? I'm not sure what it's $446,272 is going towards too.
This is their annual operating budget that the state provides.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't come out of any other any other thing that we have. So that basically this is our commitment that we're going to continue operating the CDC. And this is approximately the amount they give us every year, more or less. And that they have to pay for their salaries and food and everything that these are their operational funds.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, does that clear everything up?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Ryan?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Hyduk, Mr. Hyduk,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Okay. 912, the temporary CDC loan resolution for 2021. I'll entertain a motion.
I move.
A motion from Mr. Gonzalez, a second.
Second.
Second from Mr. Rehnquist. Questions, concerns? Further discussion? Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Hyduk,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
All right. That brings us down to action items for personnel movement. 10.1, out of class pay for Elena Rodriguez. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
I've got a motion from Ms. Stiers, a second, please.
Second.
I have no idea where it came from.
Mr. Ramirez.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. You all caught up? We're good?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Hyduk,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Okay. 10.2 is the MOU with PVCFA and CTA for retirement incentive extended dates.
So moved.
We've got a motion from Hyduk, second.
Second.
We got a second from Mr. Ramirez. Further questions, comments, discussion? Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Hyduk,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Okay. Action items miscellaneous. Section 11 of our approved agenda. 11.1, approval of the fiscal services for 2019 annual program review. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We've got a motion from Mr. Hyduk, a second from Mr. Ramirez. Any further questions, comments, concerns, discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Hyduk,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Okay. 11.2, approval of the maintenance and operations annual program review. Entertain a motion.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Ramirez made the motion. Second was from Mr. Hyden. Any further questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none. Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Hyduk,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Okay, 11.3, approval of the Human Resources 2019 Annual Program Review. This time I'll entertain a motion.
I move.
Mr. Gonzalez, second. Second, Mr. Rehnquist. Further discussion, questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none. Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Hyduk,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Okay. 11.4, approval of the Office of the Superintendent President and a review. This time, I got a motion from Mr. Hyduk, a second.
Second.
Second from Mr. Gonzalez. Any further questions, comments, or concern? Hearing none. Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Hyduk,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Okay, 11.5, the resolution ordering the Consolidated Governing Board election on November 3rd, 2020. Looks like Mr. Gonzalez, Mr. Hyduk, and Mrs. Stiers are up for re-election.
Move to approve.
I've got a motion from Dr. Thomas, a second.
Second.
Got a second from Mr. Ramirez. Any further comments or questions? Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Hyduk,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yeah.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Okay, 11.6, approval of the board policies, BP 2410, BP 3410. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Mr.
Second.
Hyde, I got a second, Mr. Ramirez. Any further comments, questions, discussion, or concern? Hearing none. Ms. Millian?
Mr. Arneson,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Hyduk,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
Mr. Rehnquist,
Yes.
Ms. Stiers,
Yes.
Dr. Thomas,
Yes.
Okay, it brings us down to section number 12 of our agenda tonight, hearing of citizens on non-agenda items. We
So
have
Brad, I don't have a comment for that section, but I did want to make a couple of comments before you close.
Sure. In that case, as we know how we've got no closed session, so go, Dr. Wallace, go ahead, please.
So just a couple of things. Carrie was polling all of you about a meeting on the 23rd. We usually hold that fourth Tuesday for a study session.
Yes.
I don't know if you've all had a chance to respond back, but there'll be two items on that agenda. We're reorganizing. I think if you've read my email I sent out to you today, we're reorganizing the counseling department. And that became possible with the retirement of Hortensia. So I was kind of mentioning that earlier. When you have people in positions, it's kind of hard to move things around. But when the position opens up, then it's easier to reorganize things. So basically, we want to take Irma, it's called Gonzalez now. It used to be Dagnino. And we're going to upgrade her position to an associate dean. She'll be in charge of all the counseling operation, which includes DSPS and TRIO when we get TRIO back. And she will be the legal coordinator for DSPS, which is required by government code. Tencha told us when she left that we've got to get somebody in there because the law requires it. And we have a whole herd of students that need services right now. So it's something we can't really wait on. And in this particular case, Irma is ready to step up and do it. She's a super individual, if any of you know her, super worker. And she's not getting any increase in pay. In fact, I think there's a slight decrease in pay for taking this job. So we're really happy about that. It's a budget neutral move. It's going to really help our student services as far as counseling and that goes. And so anyway, you'll see the job description and then her contract on the agenda for the 23rd. We did send it out to our college council by email. It's, as you know, these administrative moves are not really subject to the 10+1, but still in all, we like to get the input. And so we send it out and we solicit their input on the job description. It was interesting that Sarah didn't have any comments about it. So it probably indicates to me that they're not going to have any heartburn about it.
All right.
Oh, that was so the 23rd. And then the other one I wanted to say, we'll do that one by Zoom. But I think that'll be our last Zoom meeting. When we come back in August, I'm pretty confident we're going to be back in the boardroom.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
Yay.
Yeah.
Go back to a normal way of doing business. Okay. 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 Well, we've got no closed session tonight, which couldn't do on Zoom anyway. So here we go. Does anybody else have anything to add, bring light to, make mention of? Hearing none. Hearing none. Thank you all very much for your time and your patience. We had a lot to do tonight. I appreciate it. Lamar, I appreciate all your help. We're adjourned. Thank you.
We appreciate you, Brad.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.